Hi, this is Tom Loya with Homebridge Financial. Welcome to our mortgage and real estate Q&A. Today's special guest is Carlos Rosado, who is a mortgage loan originator with Homebridge Financial. For over a decade as a mortgage professional, Carlos Rosado's focus has been delivering outstanding loan experience to his clients. With a background in financial services, Carlos has been listening to his clients, discovering their financial needs, and then patiently waiting for their options or walking them through their options. He supports Illinois, Wisconsin, and Florida home buyers and homeowners by offering a wide range of loan solutions to fit their unique needs. Needs included our first-time home buyer purchases, second home and investment purchases, home equity lines of credit and bridge loans, bank statements and 1099s for self-employed individuals, home renovation loans, government loan programs with down payment assistance for VA and FHA, as well as loan refinancing. Carlos volunteers his time as a past board member for Habitat of Humanity in Lake County. And he is currently the president of the Lake County chapter for the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. Welcome, Carlos.
Thank you, Juan. Yeah, so I'm excited to be here. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and thank everyone that has joined us today.
Right. So, Carlos, today we wanted to talk about our simple access programs, which I know that you're an expert in these programs. So we wanted to get right to it, save people's time. So I'm going to go ahead and let you. I just pulled up the presentation. I'm going to let you go ahead and get right into the meat and potatoes of this conversation.
Gotcha. Thanks, Juan. Yeah. So everyone, we all know, home ownership is the primary vehicle for wealth creation, right? And so what we wanted to do was kind of give you a couple of different options to reach out to your different customer pool, customer base, and start thinking a little bit outside of the box for non-traditional financing. So we have what we call our Simple Access program that can help do just that. Because when you think of financing, you typically think of, your traditional financing like your FHA programs, your conventional loan programs, your VA programs, USDA programs, which we all do very well here. But this type of financing it's a combination or a hybrid of these programs that can help you get more business and reach out to more clientele. So what I'm going to focus or talk to you guys about are self-employed borrowers. Okay, so there's a bank statement program that we have. We're not going to be using the customer's tax returns to qualify them. How many of us know self-employed individuals? Many of us, right? So this program will help you get more of their business. Also, with 1099 earners, there's a program that we have where we use their 1099s as opposed to their tax returns again, because we know salespeople, truck drivers, insurance agents, a lot of them get 1099s, and then a lot of them write a lot of the stuff off. So with this program, we're not going to use the actual tax returns to qualify them. We're going to actually use their 1099. In addition to that, we have an asset qualifier loan. And this is for someone who has like a large retirement account, or someone that may have sold their business and have tons of assets, or someone that maybe even have an annuity. So we're going to use the assets that they have in their account to help them qualify. In addition to that, I'm going to touch base on this. For investors, we have this great program, one of my favorites, that kind of goes over and that can help an individual qualify for an investment property without having to provide any income documentation. And lastly, we have a full documentation program with flexible requirements for those that can't be approved through the traditional conventional loan methods. This program allows them to be qualified through outside the box thinking. So with these programs, the loan limits are up to $2.5 million. If it's owner occupied, with as little as 10% down. I'm not going to focus a ton on this. I don't want you to be an expert on all the different scenarios that we have, but basically the loan limits are much higher from your traditional conventional conforming loan limits of $647,000, right? So with these programs, they'll allow you to get into a loan or a much higher loan limits, I should say. If you're looking to purchase a second home or an investment property, this allows you also to get into those with loan limits being up to, again, $2.5 million with credit as low as 620. I just wanted to point out a few of those things. Because with these programs, guys, the average loan size with our company is $702,000. So we're looking at a much larger loan amount for these types of programs, because we know a lot of these self-employed borrowers, they have the money, they just may not be able to prove from an income standpoint that they could qualify. So let's talk about self-employed individual with our bank statement loan option that we have. So what we're going to do is either take 12 months or 24 months of bank statements to help calculate their income. We're not going to take a look at their tax returns, because we know, right? Well, a lot of times what they'll do is write off a lot of the income that's generated. And so when you look at their tax returns, there's nothing there to help them qualify. And on the traditional conforming loan methods, we're going to look at tax returns to help them qualify. But with this program, what we're going to do is, again, take a look at their bank statements, I should say, for the past 12 months or 24 months and use that as an effective income stream for them. We're not going to touch their tax returns whatsoever. So start thinking about individuals that you may know. We all know self-employed borrowers, right? Or someone who's self-employed. I myself, my brother's self-employed. He has a moving company. I have an uncle who owns a restaurant. So a lot of these people have money. They just are not able to qualify sometimes through the traditional methods. In addition to that, let's kind of dive into a 1099 individual. So how many of us are 1099 employees, right? Or I can think of real estate agents. I can think of sometimes truck drivers, someone in a DJ or entertainer, restaurant workers sometimes, rideshare drivers. They all receive sometimes 1099s at the end of the year. So what we're going to do is take a portion of that money, or of the 1099, I should say, to help them qualify for a loan. Again, we're not going to look at their tax returns. We don't care what the tax returns say. We're going to help them qualify by looking only at their 1099. The asset qualifier income. This is a program for anyone that has a large amount of assets. There was a colleague of mine that had a client that recently sold their business, and they ended up with a windfall of large, a good amount of money in their checking account. Traditional methods, we can't approve someone like that, but with this is another way to help them qualify for an income. So someone who has a large amount of income in their bank account, maybe someone who sold their property recently and they don't want to use all those funds to as a down payment or to purchase their next home in cash, we can use that asset as income for them.
So Carlos, just got on the asset qualifier, just got a question sent to me. Can we use cryptocurrency as an asset for qualifying?
We can, absolutely. That's one of the things that we can use to help qualify an individual is cryptocurrency.
How the times are changing, right?
I know. Another thing that we wanted to touch base on is multifamily owner-occupied purchase transactions. If you can't get it done through traditional FHA financing for whatever reason, with this program, we can do it on a conventional side with a minimum of 10% down versus 20% down for a 2 to 4 unit property. So this is just another way to help you qualify for a multi-unit purchase. So the investor cash flow program, this is one of my favorite programs because it's really a pretty simple loan to do. It's the qualification is based on the cash flow of the property. So again, we're not going to use any income documentation whatsoever to qualify for on an individual. What we're going to do is take 100% of the current market rent used, and we're going to, as long as it's $1 more than the monthly payment, we're going to qualify that loan. So there are some caveats to it. The buyer needs to have landlord history, 12 months of renting or managing a rental property at some point in their life. We're going to need to get a copy of that lease, but no employment or income verify for this program. And as a matter of fact, as long as you're a homeowner for the past 12 months, you don't necessarily have to have landlord history. That's also another little small detail with this program, but it's not designed for first-time home buyers. You do have to have mortgage history in order to qualify for this type of a program. So let's talk about taking your business to the next level, right? Who do you know, or who did you work with in the past that could benefit from this type of financing? Let's discuss, those options and what's available. So what I would suggest or recommend that you do is start drawing up a list of individuals that you know in the past that are either self-employed or may have 1099 income, or they're investors, and start bringing down a list and figuring out who maybe they weren't able to qualify in the past, but let's start having those conversations because we know word of mouth is typically the best type of advertisement that you can have. And if you're able to help an individual like this qualify for a loan and purchase their next home like this, they're more than likely going to refer you more and more business.
Well, Carlos, this was a great deal of information in a short period of time, but I can see that definitely a lot of flexibility with these programs to help a lot more people get into properties. One thing that I did want to highlight here at Homebridge Financial is right now that the market is really tight, we are highly encouraging people to go through a full-blown mortgage commitment approval prior to even getting a home. Can you talk about that for just a little bit?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We have a program where we go through the underwriting process for an individual. So half of the work is done right up front. So once we go through that process, the client really just has to go and find that house and get the house appraised, go through the title work. And it's a much simpler, much easier approval process once we go through and have it initially underwritten.
Right, definitely a competitive advantage when you're trying to get that house under purchase contract, right? So, so Carlos, I know a lot of your realtors are listening to this, but we also have some realtors that were invited by some other loan officers on the team. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to thank everybody for joining us today. And if you have any questions, please reach out to the loan officer who invited you to today's Q&A session, and they will be happy to answer any of your questions. But once again, thank you for joining us today for our mortgage and real estate Q&A session.
Thank you, everyone.